Yo, what's up guys, I'm Tech. So I know it's been a while since I uploaded on this channel, so I've been very busy with my other channel. So if you guys want to check out my other channel, make sure you guys go. The links to it will be down below in the description. But anyways, today here I have the Panasonic Lumix G7. So this is my new camera that I just recently purchased. So before this camera, I was actually using the Panasonic Lumix G7, which is a camera that I'm recording this video right now. So you know, the Panasonic Lumix G7 is still a fantastic camera, and I still recommend that camera to a lot of beginners that are starting out, especially if you're on a budget. And considering that camera is meant for beginners, you can actually get some really decent videos out of that camera, especially when paired with a really high quality lens. For example, like this Sigma lens that I'm using right now. This was a lens that I was actually using with the G7, and all my videos on my Android Tech channel were actually shot with this lens using the Panasonic Lumix G7. You can judge the quality for yourself, but yeah, in my opinion, the G7 is still a fantastic camera. It shoots in 4K. It does 1080 up to 60 frames, so it's pretty cool, especially for the price under $500. Definitely recommend the G7 if you're on a budget. But if you guys want something more advanced, if you guys want a camera that has more pro features, then definitely consider this camera right here. So this is a beast of a camera. This is a Panasonic Lumix GH5. So this camera right here has been my dream camera ever since it came out, and I finally got it. I've been saving up to get this camera, and I finally pulled the trigger and got this camera. And overall, I've been playing with it for about a week now, and I do have to say that I'm really loving this camera so far. So I'm gonna be going over some of the things that I really enjoy from this camera that I was missing on the G7. So the first thing is that this camera right here has dual SD card slots, so you can put 2 SD cards. So that is really useful for me, especially if you are recording at the highest resolution. You know, you don't have to worry about running out of space, since this does take 2 SD cards. So on the first slot I have a 250 gigabyte SD, and on the second one I have a 256 gigabyte SD. So that is enough space to be able to record in 4K, and you know, don't have to worry about, you know, running out of space on the camera. So that's really handy for me. Now, another thing that I really enjoy from this camera, and probably the reason why I got it, is because this thing has IBIS. If you guys don't know what IBIS is, it's basically body image stabilization. So it has in-body image stabilization, which means it stabilizes the footage, so it gets rid of the shaky footage. My Panasonic Lumix G7 did not have any of that, so the footage was very shaky unless I was using my Ronin M gimbal. But with this GH5, it's almost like you're on a gimbal. That's how smooth the IBIS is on this camera. And a lot of people say that the IBIS on this thing is even better than Sony's, which I do believe, because I've seen YouTube videos comparing the Sony a7 III versus the GH5 IBIS, and I do have to say that the GH5 IBIS looks way more smoother. So that's the reason why I got this camera in the first place, because this thing has IBIS. So I do a lot of run and gun videos. If you guys don't know, I do run a company called Android Tech Visual, so I do a lot of, you know, video work outside of YouTube. So I've been doing a lot of run and gun type of videos. So being able to have a camera that has IBIS is really handy, so you don't have to take the big Ronin M gimbal with you. You can just, you know, shoot with the body, and your footage is gonna be silky smooth. So yeah, that's the reason why I got this camera in the first place. And not only that guys, but this camera can record in slow motion. So this thing can do 4K up to 60 frames. That's also something that I'm really enjoying with the GH5. The G7 only does 1080 up to 60 frames, but the GH5 does 180 in full HD. So that's really nice guys, if you guys want that super slow motion effect on your videos. But honestly, I don't really use 180 unless I really want to shoot something that requires super slow motion. But for the most part, I try to shoot at the highest is 120 for me, because I did notice that the 120 on the GH5 looks way more sharper than the 180 frames. You know, I did some comparisons yesterday, and yeah, I did notice that the 120 frames do look a bit sharper than the 180. So I don't try to go over 120, but 120 still looks really smooth and slow. So you also have a headphone port right here, so you can monitor your audio. With the G7, again, you don't get that. This camera also is weather sealed, so you can take it in the light rain or snow or dust. So it's a dust and snow proof, so that's really nice. But overall, comparing this camera against my previous G7, I do have to say that this one does feel a bit more robust. It feels more high quality in the hand. It feels heavier. It just feels way stronger, and it just feels better overall. So really great setup, guys. And you guys might be wondering, what lens is this? So if you guys don't know what lens this is a Sigma 18-35, which is probably one of the most popular lenses for the GH5 and other Panasonic cameras. So this lens has an aperture of 1.8, but since I used the Veltrox M2 Mark II speed booster, it goes all the way to 1.2. So that's really nice for low light, since the Panasonic cameras aren't really good in low light, since they are micro four thirds. You know, they aren't as good as, for example, a full frame camera. But I do have to say that using this setup right here, this lens and the speed booster adapter, I do have to say that the low light is pretty decent. Also, the low light on the GH5 is a little bit better than the Panasonic Lumix G7, which is expected. So yeah, you do have a lot of features on this thing, guys. But if you guys want to see my full still worth it video on my main channel, let me know down below in the comments, and I'll make sure to do a video on my main channel talking about if this camera is still worth it in 2020, because this camera has been out for a while now, and a lot of people are still trying to buy this camera. But yeah, let me know if you guys would want to see a still worth it video in 2020 about this camera. But yeah guys, that's just gonna do it for this video. This was just a quick little video going over the things that I like about the GH5. But like I said, if you guys want to see the full in-depth video, let me know down below in the comments, and also subscribe to my main channel. The links to it will be down below in the description. But anyways guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace.